We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years, approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a third grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, get a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. Which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. This is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. Good afternoon on the West Coast. Good afternoon in the mountain. Good afternoon in the central. Good afternoon on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Reparationist Perspective, bringing you those Freedmen hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our vote, socializing our suffering. And family, I know I am a few minutes early because I didn't want for my time to cut off before going to pick up my daughter from track. And like I mentioned yesterday, I'm trying to come to you in between working in the courts from home. And this was a window. I was able to get in here a little earlier so I can try to get everything in that I want to discuss with you today. Family, I've been warning you that we are in the midst of an ethno-genocide because it was the intent of this country to expatriate us up out this country after they used our ancestors, freedmen ancestors, as the mules, as the shoes to build all the wealth white folks and immigrants eat from. And the puckery continues. So before I jump into today's topic, I do want to share Twitter about Amir Locke from one of his family members. And she's absolutely right. She's spoken so eloquently. I've only got about 2 minutes, 20 seconds of it on Twitter. I'm trying to find or have my comrades send me the full, presentation, her words, because she's just a beautiful, fierce, educated, freed woman. She sounds like a freed woman. I don't know about Locke as a freedman last name, but I'm speculating that given that Black immigrants are about 1,000 times more liquid than us, that it would be a little hard to believe, but hey, we've got some crossovers, right? Some of them share in the less than 700 billion that is shared by the majority of freedmen in this country. And a few of us share in the 2.9593 trillion that they share. So he could be a Black immigrant. It's rare that they execute Black immigrants, in their homes. I've not known of that to happen. I don't want to speak out of turn because I've not done the research, but as far as I know, these militarized glacier donkey race soldiers are in our communities murdering us with impunity. So I'm going to take a guess, take a leap that she is freedman, but let me share that video before I jump into today's topic about old Biden. Jim Crow Joe, your segregationist in chief, is funding $30 million to these programs throughout the country to give crack pipes to our crack addicted, okay, in the name of racial equity, not social justice and economic inclusion, not free college education, not, dismantling the preschool to prison pipeline, not letting brothers go, releasing them from prison for peddling drugs for nonviolent offenses, not giving us homes, given that they took all the land and stole our homes and burned down our businesses, not business grants, okay? But he wants to give 30 million to these programs for crack pipes so that they can safely smoke crack. I don't understand why they're mandating that we jab as we lose our jobs because we refuse to jab. Okay, which puts us on a train to homelessness, which puts us on a train to death. Why saving our crackheads has become more of a priority, given how few in number they are in comparison to the largesse of us. But far be it for me to use intellect concerning the Biden administration. Far be it for me to not lock my intellect up in a goddamn trunk. Far be it for me to question why his priority is $30 million to organizations to give out crack pipes, to make it comfortable and more easy for us to drug, other than making us whole. Rehab, reparations, like they do the opioid addicted. But let me not get ahead of myself. I do want to share this beautiful sister's tweet. Welcome to the live. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. And if you feel so compelled, bless the show. Bless the broadcast. It does cost to bring this to you live. I see your pure vision. Yes. So Biden giving out crack pipes now. Yes. Yes. The same author of the 94 crime bill. So they create the problem and then want our votes to be the solution, not mine. Okay. Trey Lincoln, I see your family. You see, Miss Viking Patriot, Miss or Mr., I don't know. I can't see. It's too small. How can you be mad? You voted for this, all of this crack pipes, mask mandates, vaccine censorship. Maybe time to rethink that vote blue no matter who BS. You're absolutely right, Viking Patriot. Not really sure if you're freedman, but overstand. I didn't vote this into office. 87% of our electorate put this into office because they were afraid of the boogeyman Trump. I don't recall Trump giving away our reparations to all these immigrants. I don't recall Trump flooding the country with refugees and immigrants. I don't recall Trump or the Republicans for that matter, giving illegals the right to vote. I don't recall Trump giving out crack pipes. I don't recall any of this happening under Trump. But he was unseated to put this current administration in office because he had mean tweets. And he called Africa a shithole country. You know, the very Africa that sold us into slavery, who is now over here 1,000 times more wealthy than us, right? While blaming us, calling us lazy, shiftless, no good, and no count. You know, like our black white oppressors, like our POC white oppressors, as they take it over. We can't even get a seat at our own reparations table. Black immigrants running that. Sheila Jackson Lee, parents descend from Jamaica, Narcan and Cobra. Now they're doing a full court press to pass HR 40 and pay themselves $20 million plus and study us into perpetuity and leave Narcan and Cobra more enriched. Rumor has it, Narcan and Cobra could potentially be behind this bull right here. One of them organizations that's going to get broken off a portion of that $30 million. Narcan and Cobra, your Pan-Africanist orgs, headed up by sellout freedmen and bootleg black immigrants who won't allow us a seat at our own national reparations table. We got to fight like everything down here and bring in Dr. Shirley Weber, Secretary of State, who authored the AB 3121 just to tell these Mickey Thickies who sit on the task force, back the hell up. This is exclusively for freedmen. But I digress. Let me not get ahead of myself. Welcome, one and all, to the live. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you, Facebook. I don't see you nor Twitter over here. But if you'd like to have your comments weighed in before I jump off this live in about an hour, please join me over in ScrewTube. Let's get into it. Amir Locke. I'm not over it. I don't know when I'll get over it. I don't think I'll ever get over it until executing us by the Glacier Donkey race soldiers and the deputized is outlawed. You know, akin to the way Biden gave the Asians protections. You know, the way he gave Indians protection. Do we really have to be less than 3% in the goddamn country before we get protections enforced? Is that what has to go down here? Because that's what they're working on. You don't believe me? Let's hear from Miss Gabrielle Passer. Let her tell you, since nobody wants to listen to me.
Amir's mom is my Aunt Karen, and my Aunt Karen and my dad are siblings, but we're a very close family. I would like to say that Black bodies are under attack, and they've been under attack. And Black people, Black men, Black women, you are not 3/5 human. That was ratified in 1788, I believe. Let me look. 1788. So you are not 3/5 human. The Second Amendment applies to you as well as the First. There is not a different code that we have to live by being Black in America. What has been most hurtful as it relates to Amir Locke is the narrative that came out from the Minneapolis Police Department from the beginning. And it was a narrative that said it's okay to criminalize you as a Black man first. So what I mean by that, and some examples of that, is we see a picture of the gun, but no statement about him being a licensed gun owner, registered gun, a conceal and carry permit, right? So they issue that, and they knew at the time that they gave us that picture that they get. And I don't want to blame the media, right? Because at the time that was fed to you, you had no other information. So who was feeding it to you? That's a systemic issue. It's a systemic issue. So you got the picture. You didn't know he was a registered gun owner. You hear a narrative that a young man or a man was shot in a warrant while serving a warrant. So what was most difficult?
Family, that was all. I'm going to try to get the whole entire thing for you. Yeah, because I want to hear the rest of her speech. I'm sure it was very awesome, and I will bring it to you as soon as one of my comrades finds it. But we're at 3:03. So let me share today's topic. I want to get into that, and I want to challenge you at the end to consider my Freedmen voter strategy. Pure Vision says, I am done with the Democrats. Well, you have every reason to be. I don't understand why we weren't done with Barack Obama. Born of a Kenyan father and a white mother who descends from slave owners. Why in the world would we go out 87% of our electorate and put Biden, the author of the 94 crime bill, segregationist in chief? Why would we give him the White House? Why would South Carolina come out in droves to vote for Biden during the primary to derail Bernie Sanders? I ain't no Bernie Sanders fan, but even Trump is better than this nonsense. I don't understand how we can be mesmerized by the corporate lamestream media to fear Trump with no track record against Freedmen. He ain't done ish for us, but he certainly ain't put the oppressive boot on our jugular while promising to do ish for us. Okay? How in the world did we fear him more than Biden, who authored the 94 crime bill? Segregationist, Strom Thurmond's eulogist, for God's sake, who has done nothing for Freedmen since being in office. And yet, of his tanking poll numbers, guess who's still polling the highest? Freedmen, who's gotten Maya Angelou on the back of a quarter with a slave owner on the front, who got a Juneteenth holiday we were already celebrating and a hip-hop holiday. Now they're trying to push through an empty HR 40 for you to vote in droves for Congress come midterms. Putting you to sleep, making you believe they're doing something for you while doing nothing but guaranteeing your ethno-genocide, weaponizing immigration against us to make us a permanent bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives. That is what you get for your vote, voting blue, no matter damn who, since FDR. But far be it from me, trolls, I don't feel like you today. Y'all need to stop this right now. I'm really not in the mood. So yes, you're right, Pure Vision. Democrats don't like us. They are the Dixiecrats. Everyone but me understands this. You're sadly mistaken. I've been sounding the alarm since Barack Obama. Let's get into it. Let me share your segregationist in chief that 87% of our electorate, not me, voted for.
Back to the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialize into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I give myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. Take back the streets.
Yeah, I want to get that mofo.
Take them out of society. Take back the streets. We have no choice but to take them out of society. Take back the street. No choice but to take them out of.
Okay, I want to pause that right there. Yeah, let's get it. Let's go. Welcome to the live, one and all. Let me come over here and give a couple shout outs. I see you. Perfecto Chico and Real Beauty Mess 25. Yeah, let's get into this right here. Let's get into it. This is your segregationist in chief, the author of the 94 crime bill that who? Bill Clinton actually made into law. Started with your segregationist in chief. Yeah, who now wants to put crack pipes into the community. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So I want to take you back a little bit. The CIA's involvement in the Contra cocaine trafficking. I want to bring you up to date as to how we got to Biden deciding to flood the country, not the country, to give specific organizations $30 million to put crack pipes into the neighborhoods over paying reparations, rehab, and social justice and economic inclusion. Yeah. So the CIA was involved in the Contra cocaine trafficking. All right. A number, see, they want to talk about alleged. No, Maxine Waters went after this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to catch you up as to how we got to the place where he feels it more important to give a handful of our crack addicted $30 million because this is a grift. Let me pretend to give a damn about the crack addicted while all these organizations line their pockets and do nothing for our crack addicted. As a matter of fact, let me show you whose hand is being featured on the cover of one of the articles. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. I produce and write and do everything. Talk off the dome. I do everything over here. So let me stop sharing that. Hold on one second, family. I want to show you whose hand they got up here on this crack pipe. They whitewash even our crack addicted. Ain't this about a blip? Hold on, let me show you. So y'all won't think I'm making ish up, okay? I'm from the show me state. Biden administration to fund programs to hand out crack pipes. But the operative word here is fund programs. Look whose hand is on the crack pipe. Look whose hand is on the crack pipe. As we, freedmen, were locked up by the millions behind the crack epidemic, now they want to give crack pipes out. And look whose hand represents the crack addicted. Ain't this about a blip? We are no longer the face of the crack addicted. Well, that should come as a huge compliment. But I'm just telling you, before you get the warm and fuzzies thinking that this is somehow about us as freedmen, our crack and cocaine addicted, because of course there's been a huge uproar that you're offering rehab, to white opioid addicted. And so now their solution is $30 million, but our crack addicted hand ain't on the picture. Our crack addicted hand ain't on the picture. Now I had to blow it up so y'all can really see that dirt is not Freedman. Okay, that is a white hand with dirt on it and a crack pipe. So let's dig in, because I don't want to belabor. I'm gonna try to get this done in about 30 minutes. Okay, I want to take y'all back to the origins. You probably already know. Hold on. I like to keep that picture right there. Yes, I do. I'm being messy. So a number of writers allege that the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency was involved in the Nicaraguan Contras cocaine trafficking operations during the 80s Nicaraguan Civil War. These claims have led to investigations by the U.S. government, including hearings and reports by the U.S. House of Reps, Senate, Department of Justice, and the CIA's Office of the Inspector General, which ultimately concluded the allegations were unsupported. Okay. So they all get to investigate each other, akin to the police, right? The police get to be the judge, jury, the judge, executioner, and the jury. So freedmen with no money form relationships with the Nicaraguan Contras and were able to afford to fly drugs into the community, okay, to buy pure cut drugs into the community and cut it up to make it crack. They had the resources to fly in the drugs, right? And the guns. So you got them investigating each other and deciding, oops, there's nothing to see here. An 86 investigation by a subcommittee of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the CARI Committee, found that the Contra drug links included, among other connections, payments to drug traffickers by the U.S. Department of Funds, authorized by the Congress for humanitarian assistance to the Contras, in some cases after the traffickers had been indicted by federal law enforcement agencies on drug charges. In others, while traffickers were under active investigation by the same agencies. The charges of CIA involvement in Contra cocaine trafficking were revived in '96 when a newspaper series by reporter Gary Webb in the San Jose Mercury News, who is now dead, claimed that the trafficking had played an important role in the creation of crack cocaine drug problem in the U.S. Webb's series led to 3 federal investigations, all of which concluded there was no evidence of a conspiracy by CIA officials or its employees to bring drugs into the U.S. However, in the CIA report, it was also found that CIA assets had been trafficking narcotics to fund the Contra rebels. The agency was aware of this trafficking and, in some cases, dissuaded the DEA and other agencies from investigating the Contra supply networks involved. So let's talk about Gary Webb, how he turned up dead. Gary Stephen Webb, August 31st, 55 through December 10, 2004, was an American investigative journalist. Okay? He began his career working for newspapers in Kentucky and Ohio, winning numerous awards and building a strong reputation for investigative writing. Hired by the San Jose Mercury News, Webb contributed to the paper's Pulitzer Prize-winning coverage of the Loma Prieta earthquake. Webb is best known for his Dark Alliance series, which appeared in the Mercury News in '96. The series examined the origins of the crack cocaine trade in LA and claimed that members of the anti-communist Contra rebels in Nicaragua had played a major role in creating the trade. Using cocaine profits to finance their fight against the government in Nicaragua, it also stated that the Contras may have acted with the knowledge and protection of the CIA. The series provoked outrage, particularly in the LA African-American community, and led to 4 major investigations of its charges. The LA Times and other major papers published articles suggesting the Dark Alliance claims were overstated, and in November '96, Jerome Cepos, the executive editor at Mercury News, wrote about being in the eye of the storm. In May '97, after an internal review, Cepos stated that although the story was right on many important points, there were shortcomings in the writing. See how folks start to turn coat? Editing and production of the series. He wrote that the series likely oversimplified the crack epidemic in America, and he supposed critical role the dealers written about in the series played in it. Webb disagreed with this conclusion. Webb resigned from the Mercury News in December of '97. He became an investigator for the California State Legislature, published a book based on the Dark Alliance series in '98, and did freelance investigative reporting. He died by suicide on December 10, 2004. The Dark Alliance series remains controversial. Critics view the series' claims as inaccurate or overstated, while supporters point to the results of a later CIA investigation as vindicating the series. The follow-up reporting in the Los Angeles Times and other papers has been criticized for focusing on problems in the series rather than re-examining the earlier CIA Contra claims. But you recall Maxine Waters, okay, demanding the CIA be investigated for its involvement in cocaine trafficking. But you see, when they're allowed to investigate themselves, how this turns out, family. So this is where it started, along with the segregationist in chief. Like I mentioned prior, they create the problems and they want our vote to be the solution. So let's get into the article. Hold on. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. And thank you for joining the live. So they're going to fund these programs. Now, this is Fox 5. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is reportedly seeking to give grants to programs that hand out crack pipes to drug addicts as part of a program to keep drug users safe. Let me stop right there. Let me take a breath. We can't get the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act signed into law. We can't get the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed into law. But the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is concerned about keeping the drug users safe, with the idea to limit their infections among drug users. We can't get social justice nor economic inclusion. We still got no-knock warrants, wherein 22-year-old Amir Locke was murdered with 2 seconds to respond out of his sleep. We can't get any of that outlawed. But Biden decides to give $30 million to programs to keep the drug users safe. Because the drug users need to be safe. You don't need to be safe as you stand upright being black in the world. You don't need the protections the Asians do with less than 1% of unarmed murders by the race soldiers. The Native Americans with less than 1% don't even really live amongst us. Need more protection than we do. But the drug users need to be kept safe. We need to limit their infections. Although the majority of our drug users are in jail or dead. Another white wealth transfer to what? Help their drug users. You see the hand on the picture. Does that hand look black to you? Look beyond the dirt. Moving on, a $30 million Biden administration grant program includes money for nonprofit groups to purchase safe smoking kits, supplies, according to a report in the Washington Free Beacon. Now, what you don't know, and maybe you do, is that this is already happening throughout the country. Let me find where my comrade wrote me. Hold on one second, y'all. I got many different devices where I got to read certain things. One day I'm going to be big enough to have my own production crew to just flash things on the screen as I speak. Let me just share so y'all can see me and not so much of the dirty hand. Welcome to the live, y'all. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Okay, this is some exchanges with some of the grassroots. I'm not going to reveal her name, but this is what she shared with me, y'all. So let me back it up and share a few comments from some of my colleagues when I shared about this $30 million grant. One of my comrades wrote, and he was the one tossing us into prison for crack 20 years ago. This is just so disrespectful. Where TF are the lawyers with the class action causes against our government for the crack era? BS. We know they did. The collusion with law enforcement, I got to blow that up, y'all, and the private prison industry and government to execute this long game genocide on our people. There is so much money in black failure. Poverty pimps is all they are. Then another one of my comrades said this. I see you, Satra Delry 360. Thank you, my love, for joining the live. $30 million. Watch in Cobra and Narc endorse that as being the beginning of their unsystematic partial measures taken over a 50-year time as their piecemeal reparations agenda. Joe Biden didn't think of this himself. It came from them in Cobra and Narc, allegedly. I have to put that on there. My question was, it did? Please share your source. She writes, I'm a public health practitioner working in marginalized communities in Chicago. I write peer-reviewed literature and read a lot. I run in academic circles. Plus, it's common sense. It's very obvious this is a behind-the-doors initiative. What's so crazy? It's from a white woman, liberal academic that pushed them to do it. I was waiting to hear about this. On top of that, in Illinois, foreign MDs are allowed to be credentialed without testing. Okay? Let me read that to you. Y'all, it is the ethno-genocide, and if y'all don't invoke my voter strategy, we are doomed if we keep these Democrats in office. The Democrats have become the guillotine, the Republicans the gas chamber. Okay. What's up, Shannon Kim? I see you, fam. I will get to your comments momentarily. Okay, so it says, per Governor Pritchard's January 10th, 2022 press conference, Illinois will allow qualified foreign medical graduates to practice medicine in Illinois. Did you hear that? On 2/3/2022, the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation approved the process and started taking applications through a very straightforward process. Currently, spread the news and help IMGs by supporting their placement within the healthcare workforce. They don't even have to test because we are their guinea pigs for slaughter. Let's go back to her comments. These foreign MDs will also not only help with COVID, they will help with drug addiction as well. Not only in Illinois, it's sweeping across the country. Okay, then the other one asked, did you listen in on the interview with the author Roy Beck on his book Behind the Hiring Line? Now, let me take a breath. Too many people are stuck on the fact that he's being deemed a white nationalist and uses the word Ignay. Okay, I'm not going to say it. I don't give a damn. What he's espousing in that book is the real deal, Holyfield. You need to read it and be awakened. You need to wake up. So don't allow who he is as a racist to keep you from this important information. I don't know. Allegedly, he's a racist. I don't know. I know that what they tend to do is, when we started the former ADOS movement, they called us Russian bots. So believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. If you ain't had that encounter, you need to get this education and understand the weaponization of immigration against freedmen to make us the permanent bottom caste in this country. A recent chart that I showed on one of my broadcasts showed us at 82%. We were once 90. We're now 82% to free Black immigrants, 18%, which means they're growing in numbers over here. And the ones they're importing from Africa generally descend from slave traders. So they've got money already. And then they come in and then they take advantage of our affirmative action at our HBCUs to infiltrate the student body and administration. So the top of the influx of foreign doctors, the topic of the influx of foreign doctors came up. It has been noticed in white areas too. She responds, yes, I thought it was excellent for the information I heard. However, I toggled in and out. I missed that portion. I'm going to listen again. As for reporting on the information, if you read, oh, hold on, guys. I got to blow it up. If you read in between the lines on both of their websites, it mentions drug addiction, needing help, guidance, etc. You could assume it was a plan. Their reparations help is a piecemeal plan of social services, etc. for the next 50 years. I bet the immigrant Blacks are in training courses with them now, but purely speculative on my part. Oh, these trolls are busy because I'm waking y'all up. I done caught you. You're out of here, blocked. I missed it. What's the new voting strategy? I'll share about it shortly, my sweet, before I leave out of here. I've been circulating it all over Facebook. But essentially, everyone has a strategy, especially the immigrants. This is what the Voting Rights Act is all about. We came out in droves for Barack Obama. And we didn't come out so much for Jim Crow Joe, but enough of us came out to give him the White House. That's due in large part to the Black immigrant vote. If they are truly now 18%, then the Democrats have serious allies because they're paying them our reparations and denying us opportunities. They've got preschool to prison pipelines established for our lineage, while they allow these Black immigrants with money to take this country over. I've mentioned on another broadcast how they're starting to scrub their lineage so you can't discern who they are. And if you know anything about Caribbean Black immigrants, a lot of their last names closely mirror ours. I don't know if you knew that Julia Malveaux just mentioned on a Roly Poly Martin broadcast that she is of Haitian descent. See, all this time we were under the impression that she was Louisiana because of the Malveaux last name. No, she admitted in that broadcast that she is of Haitian descent. She heads up NARC, okay, who sits on the HR 40, where they want to be paid $20 million, okay, to deliver nothing because they know good and well that this is a House bill and it's close to passing unless we get on the phones and sound the alarm. I am hopeful to come back to you on Thursday with a solid plan, scripting in the whole 9 yards to get everybody involved to destroy HR 40. But I need the support of my grassroots to do it. If not, I'm going to Sharon, I want that hand right up there. It was buffering just a second. I'm going to keep that hand right there because this is who they're intending to help. Their own. Not the Black crack addicted. Like I said, most of them are in jail under free slavery, okay, because they criminalized our use of crack. It was criminalized for the not-so-new slavery as a part of the private prison industrial complex. I'm with my comrade. When are we filing lawsuits? We need lawyers up the wazoo right now to sue the private prisons, the CIA, the federal government. They're all complicit. And then they get to investigate each other to say there's nothing to see here. Anyway, I digress. I'm at like 3:35. Let me, so I'll share about that. Satra Del Reed 360. I will share what my voting strategy is. The voting strategy for these immigrants is when they earn less than $50,000, they vote Democrat. 50,000 and greater, they vote Republican. Freedmen need a strategy. It ain't got nothing to do with agendas because the Democrats clearly lie about agendas. And then we put them into office for them to give away our reparations to line their own pockets into Black immigrants and to the POC, the Asians, Indians, Hispanics. Everybody got a bag but us, you see. While they're, working a full court press to give this HR 40 to pay themselves $20 million. They're grifting off of our reparations fight, which didn't amass 100 plus signatures until after the former ADOS movement got involved. We tried to get to that table for edits. They're literally using this to grift into perpetuity on a study that will never be delivered because they tied all Blacks into it. When the Black immigrants, by and large, didn't get here until after the 1965 Immigration Act. This will never pass the Senate, and they know it. Which is why I'm so grateful to State Secretary Dr. Shirley Weber, who came onto the task force meetings and said this is specifically for freedmen. We're not tying all Blacks to this claim for freedmen to be left holding the bag with maybe 50 cents to their name. Anyway, so let me get back to the article before I run out of time and my baby girl calls and says, come and get me, I'm hungry. You know how it goes, Freeman life. Okay, so Biden is giving $30 million to grant programs for nonprofit groups to purchase safe smoking kit supplies, according to a report in the Washington Free Beacon. You mean like the Black Lives Matter Global Federation? Didn't they just buy a house in Canada that Patrice Cullors and her wife in Canada for like 8.1 million. Now they're under another investigation. The grassroots has seen very little of this money. They're 501c3. And Act Blue was on their website. So when you were giving to the Democratic Party. They amassed hundreds of millions off of Black Lives Mattering from the the Global Federation. That's a whole nother segment I hope to get to tomorrow. I meant to do that one today, but when I saw this, I had to pump the brakes and put that story off to tomorrow. Back to the text, y'all. So you can't trust that any of this is going to benefit freedmen, because the majority of our crack addicted are in prison or dead. Class-based policies don't fix race. 30 million for all the crack addicted don't fix freedmen crack addicted, you see? When you fix everybody, where are we? Still on the bottom, right? Okay. The pipes would also hopefully convince people to smoke instead of injecting drugs, because injections are reportedly riskier. Ain't this about a blip? Oh my God. San Francisco and Seattle have tried crack pipe kit distribution programs. News of the pipe program came the same day that the Justice Department signaled that it might be willing to allow safe injection sites for people to use heroin and other drugs. And our babies have to live amongst this. Our babies are in perpetual state of war. The first officially authorized safe injection sites opened in New York City in November. The two facilities, which the city calls overdose prevention centers, provide a monitored place for drug users to partake, with staffers and supplies on hand to reverse overdoses. Advocates have hailed them as a way to curb the scourge of overdose deaths. The New York City sites so far have intervened in more than 125 overdoses among more than 640 users, many of whom have made multiple visits, according to Unpoint NYC, the org running them. Oh my God. I got one more to read, y'all. Just a second. Let me pull it up. Welcome to the live. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. $30 million. Now, does it take these organizations $30 million? Let's say New York has helped 640 drug users, right? And have helped 125 that went into overdose. Times 3, what's that? 640 times 3. Let me get my calculator, y'all. My mind is not working right now. I don't want to add too many zeros. Let's do the math. 640 times 3, because they mentioned San Francisco and Seattle. Let's assume they each help about 640 people. 640 users come to the facilities. You're talking about 1,920 people. Divide that by 330 million Americans. You're talking 0.0000581818. That requires $30 million. No housing for freedmen, no reparations for freedmen, no college degrees for freedmen, no grants for businesses for freedmen, no home ownership for freedmen, no federal jobs guaranteed for freedmen. But you need $30 million to fund these programs for, what did I just say? Let's say it again. 0.0000581818. This is your Democratic Party, and your tax dollars at work, family. While freedmen are in the fight of their lives to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives. While Asians and Native Americans and Hispanics get our reparations while they tell us no, and we get Maya Angelou on the back of a quarter of a slave owner, a Juneteenth holiday, and a hip-hop holiday. Hold on. I want to read the Daily Mail UK on Biden giving out these crack pipes. See what they got to say. And then I'm going to pray us out. I'm going to tell you my strategy, and then I'm going to pray us out. Biden administration to fund programs. Oh, Lord. Can they stop it with these? I cannot stand how these pop-ups. Okay. Biden administration to fund programs that hand out crack pipes to prevent infection and promote racial equity. You see the hand on the photo, right? This is about helping to line the pockets of these groups, these nonprofits. That's what it's about. Our crack addicted are in jail doing slavery or in the grave. The $30 million grant program will distribute funds to nonprofits and local governments to make drug use safer and advance racial equity, meaning they're lining their own pockets. Included in the grant is money to purchase safe smoking kit supplies. A spokesperson for HHS said included in these kits could be pipes for users. Okay, I'm seeing if they're saying something new. It is against the law to sell or distribute drug paraphernalia, including such pipes, unless authorized by state, local, or federal law. Let's jump down. Let's jump down. Applicants for the program get priority if they serve underserved communities such as African Americans or Native Americans or LGBTQ people. The crack cocaine epidemic starting in the 1980s disproportionately ravaged the Black community. Let me show you these pictures. Other harm reduction supplies that could be purchased with the grant money, including testing equipment for sexually transmitted diseases, overdose reversal, medication lock boxes, syringes, and substance test kits. The grant program lasts 3 years and includes 25 awards of up to $400,000. This is a nightmare. I cannot. Okay, let's see here. The DOJ told the Associated Press it was evaluating such facilities and talking to regulators about the appropriate guardrails. The DOJ under the Trump administration had prosecutors who fought aggressively against a plan to open safe consumption sites in Philadelphia. Quote, although we cannot comment on pending litigation, the department is evaluating supervised consumption sites, including discussions with state and local regulators about appropriate guardrails for such sites as part of an overall approach to harm reduction and public safety, the agency said in a statement Friday to the AP. Whatever. This is a nightmare. Okay, so they're saying that, let's go back. There was an estimated 100,306 drug overdose deaths in the 12-month period ending in April 2021, according to the CDC, a 28.5% increase from just the year prior. 3/4 of those deaths involved opioids, many of them being synthetic opioids such as methamphetamine or fentanyl. Okay, so let's take that number. 100,306 divided by 330 million. 0.0003039576% of the country, and this requires $30 million. It's going to last 3 years, 25 awards of up to 400,000. Oh, Lord. I'd like to see the books. I'd like to see the books. Bye, troll. Bye, troll. Again. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications if you feel so compelled. Bless the broadcast. Thank you for joining the live. Let's see what my family has to say about it. Oh, thank you, Satra. Oh, before I do that, let me share my voter strategy for Friedman. You've got nothing coming. And if you sit at home, you can't send a message to the Democrats that we undermined and undid them. I would venture to say that we actually fared better under Trump. We have lost ground under the Biden administration. And the puckery continues. So my Friedman voter strategy, after much thought and prayer, is to vote for closed border candidates only, including Marcel Dixon, to replace Coon Clyburn in District 6, South Carolina. As a matter of fact, get to his campaign. Marcel Dixon for Congress. Let me write it in the chat. We must get him elected. We must send a strong message. For several election cycles, the Democrats should never be in control of the country again. We're about to be marched off to war with Russia, protecting the borders of a whole other country, Ukraine, when our borders are open to allow these illegals the right to vote, to allow these immigrants and these illegals the right to our reparations, the right to housing, the right to businesses in our communities to gentrify us right up out of them. You're sending 3,000 troops to protect the borders of Ukraine, but you drag Donald Trump for a border wall. When immigration is our number one most imminent threat, we ain't got national reparations coming. I don't know when. They're really working to extinct us to as few in numbers as the Indians, and then they may throw us a quarter. So we cannot invest all of our energy into reparations. There are other fights. We're dying today. We are the majority of the homeless and homeless families in the country, especially here in LA. They've neutralized us economically. Now they're coming for the vote. And this is why they're flooding the country with refugees and illegals. And this is why Biden is perfectly okay with the ACLU giving $450,000 per person for $1 million family of four for illegals who break the law, enter the country, who got separated from the kids, who, oh, by the way, have been sending their kids forward. That's a whole nother show. We must vote in. I don't give a damn what you think about them, how you feel about them. Now, of course, you can't vote in Missouri for that devil who wrote that bill for the Missouri Bill 666. That was in yesterday's broadcast. I don't have time to go look it up because I got to go get my baby. But that's the voter strategy, Satra Delry 360. Only closed border candidates. We have to neutralize our most imminent threat right now, which is immigration. Legal and illegal, it's got to stop for Black men to get work. Shanna says, this is targeting our communities, not them white communities in Delaware with the opioid and meth problem. No, fam. No. You see whose hand is featured on this picture? They always weaponize our Holocaust to give themselves a hand up. Our crack addicted are in jail. Run me the data on how many of us have died from overdose. I know that famous actor from The Wire was given some bad drugs with fentanyl in it by, I think, 3 Hispanics. But I don't know this current day epidemic is about us, family. I'm seeing more of them white folks lose their lives over overdoses. So I believe this is a front. And I also believe, given the number, it don't take $30 million. I'd like to have all of the books of everybody who gets an award. I'd like to see how much was actually spent on materials for less than 0.00005% of the people who use these facilities. And I'd like to drill down and find out how many freedmen black did that include. Then maybe we can see if your theory is right. Maybe we can see that they were in fact targeting freedmen with $30 million to help our drug addicted. Because if that were the case, why are they still in jail doing slavery in the private prison industrial complex? Why aren't those nonviolent offenders released and rehabbed and given federal jobs guarantees and able to rebuild their lives? No, our Holocaust is always weaponized against us for the white come up. They're concerned about their own dying, not us. When it comes to info, eat the meat and spit out the bones, says Satra Del Reed 360. I missed it. What is the new voting strategy? Herb saying this next election cycle will be very interesting. Oh, honey, I am ringing the alarm. Satra Del Reed 360. The voter strategy, you must rewind it to get the explanation, is only vote closed border candidates, including Marcel Dixon, to replace Kuhn Clyburn in District 6. Okay, babe, I'm on the way.
Okay, I'll give it to you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Bye. Where are you at? Oh, Lord. That's my time, y'all. Okay, so closed border candidates only, including Marcel Dixon in District 6, Kuhn Clyburn's district, 57% black. Please, please, please give to his campaign on recurring. No donation is too big or small. Marcel for Congress. I'm putting it in the chat. Know this, family. We stay home, it will be to our peril, because the immigrants that are earning under $50K are coming to the polls strong to keep Biden and Kagame in the White House. They're coming strong. So if we stay home and leave it willy-nilly, we don't stand a snowball's chance if this continues. I've told y'all time and time again, a trifecta of either party is the death knell for freedmen. That's why I'm pushing for closed border candidates, and that includes Marcel Dixon. He is about closing these borders on legal and illegal immigration. Both parties are complicit, but like I said, the Republicans have now become the gas chamber. The Democrats have become the guillotine. Thanks to our electorate choosing the lesser of two evils when they're both evil, instead of creating a third freedman black party over 100 years ago. So there you have it, fam. With that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Freedman and his allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God, family. Know that I love you, Black and Strong family. I thank you so much for tuning into today's broadcast. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. You've got to help me sound the alarm. I love you, Black and Strong, and I'm wishing you a ton of peace, love, and reparations. I hope to see you tomorrow with another epic, groundbreaking broadcast of the reparationist perspective. This is Angela Nirvana signing off. TRP, peace, love, and reparations, family.